Hey everyone, this is Dr. Maclin, your Reiki Master and chronic pain specialist. I just wanted to get on really briefly this week to talk about deep rest and what we call self-care many times. And it's really important. And it's not just important to recharge your battery and just physically rest. But this week I was sat down. Basically, I mean, not in a really difficult way, but I was sat down in the event that I was exposed to COVID. So I am quarantined, and I've been symptom-free and using my home tests and testing negative when I enter the house because I live with other people. I wear my mask when I go make food for myself in the kitchen. But what this time has really done for me is help me to go more deeply into some shadow work, some fears and feelings and beliefs that no longer serve me have popped up again. And I think that this was partially brought on by the isolation. Humans in general don't do well with consistent isolation. I definitely know that I don't, even though I do believe that I am an introvert. However, I am also somewhat extroverted because I do liven up around people. I'm fun at parties. I definitely like having my social time. But like I said, this consistent isolation brought up a feeling of loneliness, which I haven't felt in a long time. But it also brought up fears that in the past haven't stopped me, and fears in the past that haven't made me doubt what it is that I'm doing, especially with this career change and focusing on traditional forms of medicine. And I think that what's happening with me is that I'm definitely continuing to increase my vibrational frequency, and I continue to level up, so to speak, in terms of my spirituality and my awakening. And this was just a time for me to really look at these thought processes for the last good time. And I would say the last good time just because I believe this is the last gaffe, or the last hurrah for these types of feelings that have typically held me back from pursuing this life that I'm and this current journey that I am on. So perhaps not quite as much substance today, but I just wanted to get on and say that rest is not just for your body, it's for your mind, it's for your spirit, and it's necessary. In our society, we typically treat it as a luxury because we are programmed to be doing more than just being. And I don't say just being in that I'm judging it as a lesser of the two forms of existing, but just being, meaning existing, being present, meditating if you need, which is the ultimate form of being. So I guess what I'll talk about next is what snapped me out of my little funk, because I was very much not in a good mood. I was fearful about what I'm doing with my life right now. I was doubtful about the same thing. I had feelings of sadness and, like I said, loneliness. And this isn't me typically, especially not lately, since I have decided to follow my dreams and have experienced some great moments beyond my wildest dreams so far. And I expect more of that. But what I did to break myself out of this funk was to what one of my girlfriends, who is a psychiatrist, who I met at CASE in the psychiatry program. And she was in the psychiatry program while I was in the anesthesia program. And we became really good friends. And we speak regularly. And one of the things that she suggested that I do, which is something that she does, is journal, because there's so many different emotions and beliefs that are swirling up in your head when you're going through when you're going through dark times. And I forced myself to be really honest with myself and write down exactly what was going through my head. And these thoughts and beliefs were so strong that they elicited a bad feeling from me. They elicited crying. And once that happened, I realized very clearly that those beliefs, those emotions, those thought processes were not true. So one thing that Abraham Hicks will teach is that negative emotion is there to show you what's not true. So if you have a thought in your head, let's say something really negative like, I'm ugly and I'm not smart. When that feeling hits you as a negative feeling, it means that it's not true. So your inner being is telling you in that moment, whatever it is that you are saying to yourself or about someone else, or whatever you believe that doesn't feel right to you, that feels negatively, is not true. So once I noticed that feeling, I thought, oh my gosh, this is me telling myself, my higher self telling me that these things are not true. I knew that anyway, but I had to go through the process of actually writing out these specific worries, fears, and beliefs that were churning in my head that I couldn't get out of my head, even though I thought that I had moved past them. I had to put them on the page, feel that negative feeling, and then the next thing that I wrote was something positive. I can't exactly remember what it was, but something to the effect that I'm gonna make it, that I am going in the right direction, something to that effect, something positive as an outcome, and positive that I believe right now. And it was short, but that lifted me up out of that that thought process, that funk that I was in for this week. And while I was writing these prompts, I was actually in nature. I go to City Park here, which is a lovely, lovely park that has these huge, beautiful oak trees full of moss. There's a marsh with lily pads and ducks and groundhogs and birds, turtles, which I think are so cute, everything. So it's got the whole shebang, water, earth, and that within itself helps to lift your spirits via serotonin. So once I did that within that space, and here I have my, I think this is black obsidian, but it's like sheen obsidian, and it helps to absorb negativity, low vibrations. I've been using this, but to get back to my point about the writing of the feelings and thoughts, then leaving it with an uplifting thought and a belief that these fearful thoughts that I'm writing are not true and they're a sham and they don't exist really. That lifted me up to the point where I would say I did a complete 180 in terms of how I was feeling. So that was how I achieved that. But again, taking deep rest is important. If you have the luxury to take a day for yourself and you know that you need it, it's good to do it. And such as in my case, sometimes the universe will sit you down when you need deep rest. And I can imagine that I needed it. I just moved in February. I've been working on my business. I've also been acclimating to this new place, looking for permanent apartments or permanent housing, and also all the while, especially when I first moved here, doing a lot of socializing, going out a lot, all great things. Essence Festival was just here. I went to 2 nights of the concerts. Beautiful, beautiful experience. It's all good, but when you're going, even if it is positive and even if it is going well, you can burn out a little bit. So I think universe just kind of said, you know what, let's have you sit down. Thank goodness I feel good, and I've been testing negative, but I do feel like my body needed the rest. I've been sleeping a lot, reading, catching up on television shows. Anyway, now that I'm rambling, I know that I need to end this, but please comment below. Let me know what comes up for you when you take deep rest, and what do you notice for yourself aside from the physical aspect, the physical rest and recharge that you may feel, but what else comes up for you? So like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll have more videos. I do post once weekly at least. So yes, continue on this journey with me. And if you would like to work with me personally, please visit my website, marissamaclin.com. Take care.